All today's rant is directed at a specific, prissy, stuck-up suburbanite, magnificent young lady, I'm sure, who who kind of rallies a bit of support in an argument she raises from the crowd with this guy at a Q&A at the University of New Hampshire. This the video is published on May 20th, 2018 this year by uh, somebody called the Liberty Hound. This is the only video I've ever seen by them. I was kind of led to it synchronistically and with very obvious reason. This actually deals with a particular instance that the initiative in its entirety is dealing with, has been dealing with for a long time. You could say that if the initiative had an actual like villain, which there is no villain in this story, as we've stated before, even people who are working against the initiative, you're still working with us. Any action you take against us only draws attention our way, and that's all we need to win this thing. So, we just need people to be caring and giving a shit, people paying attention generally, and it's already a done deal. So any action you take against us, even if you are acting directly against the initiative, you are in fact an ally to us and will eventually be an asset because again, we're going to achieve no division as a standard campaign goal. But this young lady is I suppose you could say she's a victim. She is a victim. They are victims. We're going to have to explain this, but this video is called You Are Not Oppressed, N-O-T, capital not. You are not oppressed. Dave Rubin calmly destroys a crazed hyper victim. Now, I wouldn't say that really. The dude doesn't destroy her. He actually has to play the defensive because this girl is on a charge here. She's on a rant without any visible reason because she in fact does. Not only does she not have any reasoning to back up her argument here and displays that, but she's also displaying a certain level of dishonesty here with the way that she behaves in that regard. So we're gonna have to point that out. But I'm just for future reference, I'm gonna have to kind of jump around here and hit timestamps because my phone apparently is chewing up its own space now and won't let me erase things or won't let me find whatever it is that's eating up all the space. So I am unable to make little clips to show you guys. So I'm gonna have to try and jump around in the video itself as it's posted on YouTube, which again, this is You Are Not Oppressed, posted by the Liberty Hound. And we'll post a link for that in the description down below. But here's the opening here's the opening piece. Oh, before I go ahead, I'm gonna speak directly to this young lady, which is a practical measure of time travel, by the way, considering that I'm speaking directly to her right now, and whereas she's going to be receiving the message at a point I'm sure is a pretty great distance of time away from here. But uh, madam, when you see this, I should like you to know that I can teach you to arrange these sorts of things. I'm going to go ahead and spot cast this in such a way as to ensure that she does in fact see it later because, oh man, do I have some shit to say to you. You need to get your shit together, lady. You and people like you, it's these few prior generations that are lacking in discipline and self-control and consideration basically. And I mean, you have the qualifications as it stands. The care that you have, the interest is what a lot for you to be a decent spotter. But you kind of have to, in order to view and to objectively see what's really happening in the real world, you kind of have to be able to view yourself objectively. And it's clear that you are unable to do this because I mean, not only are you fighting against yourself as you speak here, but it's clear that you just cannot even see what's happening. So let's go ahead and play a piece of this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just stand here. Hold it. Free speech, but he's gonna hold the mic for me, okay? You can get. Unless you want to. I mean, see, you see how silly you're coming in. You're coming in ready to fight. Interesting that he's holding the mic. All right, why don't you give her the mic? Let's. Yeah, why don't you pass me? Big win. Okay. I was serious about the suit, by the way. So, you don't believe hate speech exists? No. And you... The Supreme Court agrees with me, by the way. Great. You and the rest of the people who are here with you, or who are supposed to be here with you, claim that people have a victimhood complex,
and that anything regarding racism or sexism or whatever ism it is that we're talking about is fake news, and everybody is just out here wanting to be a victim, as if that's something, that people I wake up every morning and I say, wow, how can I be a victim despite Dave Rubin or Charlie Kirk? So I just want to understand. I just want to understand.
Yeah.
What does it take for folks on your end of the aisle to understand that people have lived experiences and who wake up every single day in this country, whether you think their victimhood complex is real or not, and they don't feel like a part of this country. And you can sit and blame them all you want, but this campus is a great example right here. When we have people on this campus who are claiming that it is all sunshine and rainbows, and they have the administration on their side, and then the reality is that biased incidents reports and hate crimes have gone up.
Yeah, so...
And people have been spit on, and people have been threatened, and people have been told to go home to their country even though they were born in fucking New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand, where's the, do I have to get lynched? Does somebody have to, murder me? Does somebody have to, kill me?
Okay,
somebody have to physically harass me? What will it take for it to be hate speech? And when do I actually become a victim? When I'm dead?
Okay. All right, great question.
Actually, no, Dave. It's not a great question at all. I hate to say there are stupid questions, but that's one of them. There are, in fact, stupid questions. The answer, obviously, is yes, madam. When you actually get directly targeted or harmed in some way, or offenses are issued personally to you, that's when it becomes criminal. Okay, people are allowed to say whatever the fuck they want to, anywhere they want to, about anyone they want to, so long as it's not directly targeted at a specific person, or is inciting violence, which she's arguing that it incites violence. But it's debatable. It doesn't really matter though, and we'll get to that. But this guy says that the Supreme Court has ruled that hate speech doesn't exist. I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. Of course, hate speech exists, but at the same time, he's not arguing against the existence of discrimination or racism, nor is he arguing that hate speech is fake news. I don't know where that came from, but that's obviously that's an idea she's getting from the greater community as it stands. Whatever's been going on with that debate so far, that argument. But I mean, three things right there. One, she opens up with, "No, you go ahead and hold the mic," and then when he holds the mic for her, she says, "Interesting that it's free speech, but he's holding the microphone." That right there, is a perfect descriptive uh, kind of example of what the entirety of this problem is, where it comes from, the origin of the difficulty that we're having as a culture, and it's in our entirety. Right there is the perfect example of it. You come out there, and your initial charge, your opening statement, is a kind of passive aggressive, reverse psychological kind of tactic to try and convince people that you've somehow been attacked, so that you can be victimized and then launch an attack back. Like you behave as though you are defending yourself from some assault there, when all this dude did, anybody did, was he held the microphone for you because you fucking asked him to, you fucking airhead. And then you say, "Interesting, it's free speech, but he's holding the microphone." Yeah, he's holding the microphone as a fucking courtesy because you asked him to, you fucking dick. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna try and flip into objective gear here, but that's just, you fucking dickhead. Are you for real? That right there, that opening statement is a perfect example of what the problem with our society is. All of you people, and you do have a victimization complex. It's obvious. It's right there. You just displayed it. That was your opening fucking sentiment. Was pretending to have been victimized somehow so that you can lash out in exchange. You're a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. And that's an example of what the behavior is, the mindset that these past few generations have, that they think the whole world is some kind of an assault on them because they don't have proper coping mechanisms, and they've never been They have not been properly trained to develop their own immunities, psychologically speaking. Now, not everybody, obviously, of course, it's not everybody, but there's another factor in play that is the social programming, the social experimentation programming that was in play in the early 90s and throughout up till now, that is causing for people to have this victimization complex. So, madam, when I speak to you and I say that you're a dickhead, I'd also like to say it's not your fault. Really, you've been kind of tricked into behaving this way, into thinking this way, and obviously you don't know that you're doing it. You think that you're you think that you're fighting against some oppressive force in play, where the fact of the matter is that this dude is gay, he's Jewish, he's not religious from what I can tell. He is not at all in any way involved, even by extension, with the party that would have actually created this problem to begin with. Yet you're attacking him as though he invented hate speech and racism, like this dude's somehow responsible for it. Dave Rubin made up discrimination. And not only that, but you're behaving as though discrimination in and of itself is a personal assault on you somehow. And that's how I see a lot of some of the kids that I deal with nowadays, or have been dealing with in the recent past, will have that same fucking attitude. They're gonna walk around, just waiting for somebody to say something that they can somehow interpret as being offensive to them so that they can lash out in return. They want to have problems. They want to start trouble. They want to be victims. And yes, when you ask, do I wake up asking myself, how can I be a victim today? Yes, you do. It's apparent because you just did it with that dude. Go ahead and hold the mic for me. Oh, it's free speech, but he's holding the mic. I mean, I can't get over how fucking snobby and arrogant and ridiculously demeaning that is. And that was. You fucking pygmy. Unbelievable. Now, you say that people do not feel like they're a part of this country. People tell you to go home even though you were born in Jersey. It's like you behave as though you're not a part of this country. A, B, it's not the country's fault, is it? It's not the people's fault that this is the case. We have programming in play. People by society are being trained to think and feel and behave this way. And we perpetuate the hazardous intellectualization of victimization, A, and B, obviously discrimination, hateful speech, racism, and you're perpetuating it too. This programming, as I was saying in the beginning of this video, this is kind of what we would have to call as the antithesis of the network and of the initiative in its entirety, is this division complex, that people that are perpetuating this, and you're one of them. You are a weapon, lady. You're a weapon. You've been programmed throughout the entirety of your life to think and feel and behave as though there is a problem and you need to be divided from people and you need to be lashing out at people and you need to be seeking reasons to do this so that you can zero in on a reason and nail it every time. You are a problem creating machine. So I'm sorry, that kind of makes you the villain. As I said, there's no real villains. We're all friends here, but for fuck's sake, are you an asshole? Yes, you do wake up thinking, how can I be a victim today? You do it every passing moment. You run around the world looking for ways to be victimized. And thereby you create this rift between yourself and everybody else. And every one of you that does this creates this rift. And then there are hateful, discriminative people out there. You're perpetuating this by being a fucking asshole to them. They look back and say, well, of course we were right. This type of person's a dickhead. And it goes on and on and on. You're proliferating this madness by being that way. And you don't see it. You just don't see it happening. And it's scrambled. It's just all fucked up how people walk around like this. You don't understand what's happening in the world right in front of your fucking faces. Now, as I said, I'm going to have to skip around here because I don't have, let me see if hang on just a second. Troubles, excuse me. Oh, let's get to this one. I'm going to play this little clip and I want you guys to just watch. Fucking try to make some sense out of this.
Of course, there are bigoted people. There are people who are misogynist that may not like you because you're a woman. There are people that don't like gay people, so they won't like me. There are people that are truly prejudiced against black people in every other situation. The idea that the government can come in and manage and fix all of those things is crazy, and we live in a society that has done more to free more people than any other society truly in the history of the world. But I will kick it back to you for a second. So tell me about your oppression. I mean, tell me about what you're dealing with and how the government can fix it. It doesn't mean that bad people don't exist, but tell me about your oppression. Maybe we can work through something.
It's my favorite song.
But that one was legit. It was your mom? Nice. All right. I mean, tell me about your oppression.
So I have no reason to sit and talk about my own oppression because that's just like mental energy. Well, that like unless I'm going to be paid to talk about my.
Okay, that at this point, a couple of fucking asshole black chicks in the background start chanting and won't stop. Like, this is an open forum. These people are here to speak and debate. If somebody in the crowd has a reason to debate the person on stage, then they debate. And then you've got these two asshole fucking chicks in the background repeatedly chanting, hate speech doesn't cite violence. No fucking shit, dumbass. Nobody ever said it didn't. We just said that we can't logically create laws preventing people from saying anything they want to. What the fuck? Hang on a second. Okay, found it. Sorry. These two dipshit chicks start chanting hate speech doesn't incite violence, and I mean, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is not a protest area, idiot. Now, and I'm sorry, I'm going to remain objective about the facts as it stands here. I'm going to try and point out the reality of this situation, the objective reality of what's actually happening, and this is happening. Mind you, the point of this video is that this sort of thing is happening to all of us in our daily lives, everywhere we go, everyone we meet. This is happening to some extent or another, and we need to be watching out for this, catching it as it happens, and surgically removing it from our society. Do not behave this way. If I catch you behaving this way, I'm going to fucking call you on it. That's what we all need to be doing. We need to be looking out for each other, watching out for when we do stupid shit like this, and teaching each other to stop. No more fucking delusional bullshit reinforcing other people's contagious delusions. We need to wake the fuck up here, okay? We don't have time for this. This is ridiculous. This is childish fucking bullshit. Hate speech doesn't incite violence. Yes, that's an obvious fucking fact, you moron. No. Chanting that there, standing up against this guy on stage because he says simply that the Supreme Court rules that hate speech is not a crime because we have the freedom of speech. Meanwhile, you're chanting and perpetuating hate speech by doing it, and then this chick's gonna say, the dude says, okay, look, he offers her money. After she just said that, after he said, tell me about your oppression, she says, I don't really have to sit here and talk about my oppression. Well, you raised the issue, dumbass, so yeah, you kind of do. You have to talk about your oppression. Otherwise, you can't raise the argument that you've been oppressed. And then she goes ahead and says that she has not stated that she's oppressed, which is the fucking, like, the dogma underneath the foundation of her entire argument is that she's being oppressed somehow. And directly, too. And she does go ahead and even say that she's being directly oppressed afterward, after she says, I never said that I was oppressed. Then she goes ahead and says that it's a direct offense to her. I'm sorry, I'm getting out of line here. He offers her money because she said, I don't have to stand here. I shouldn't have to stand here and talk about my oppression because that's just like mental energy. Okay, that's a big tell right there. That's a tell that you're lying. You understand? Any spotter can get that. Any spotter can pick that out of thin air. It's simple. It's easy. It's basic. That's what we could call it neuro-linguistic programming, or a sort of body language, and what you say and how you say it, how you behave, and the way that you're handling yourself, especially considering that you have such a big problem with this, that you're so personally angry about it, yet you don't have anything to say about how you've been personally offended. That means that you're a fraud. That means that you're standing up for a bullshit cause that you don't even really identify with. that you're being a fucking asshole for the sake of it. And again, it's coming back to this programming. It's because you're programmed to behave this way. And I do apologize, madam. It's just, I can't, I'm trying to be objective and I want to be as friendly as possible. And of course, when you see this video, I don't want you to be pissed off at me, of course, because I mean, look at how you handle it. But I don't want to be the source of anger for anybody, but I mean, you are such a fucking asshole. You are such a just pygmy fucking dickhead here. It's unbelievable, and it really upsets me. This is a personal offense to me as a human being, not as a white guy or as a fucking what am I? I think I'm German. I'm Polish. Not as a Polak, but as a human entity. This is a disturbing and offensive manner in which to behave. Anyways, he offers her money because she says, I'm not being paid. I should get paid to share my story. I'm not getting paid. Bitch, you stood the fuck up in a crowd and you started fucking hate speeching this guy and using words that you don't understand. Obviously, she uses the word espouse a couple times. She uses the word de facto. She uses these words in a manner which is incorrect. It doesn't fit, madam. Using the word espouse, most particularly, it's incorrect the way that you've used it. It doesn't fit with that sentence, A, and B, you use it repeatedly, which is a tell that you have kind of picked that word up at random from someone else talking or writing an article, and you just kind of want to use it because you think it sounds intellectual, whereas the fact of the matter is that you obviously don't understand the word, didn't bother looking it up in a dictionary or deciding as to whether you were going to use it properly. So that's just ipso de facto. That's a tell. Anyways, let's skip ahead here. He as I was saying, he offers her money to tell about her oppression, about how she's been oppressed, and she refuses to do it because she has nothing to say, obviously. And she's probably just a pampered suburbanite girl who's in like $100,000 college plan, and then she's fucking, this is, and she's going to use this excuse that that's my mental energy. You're standing there using your mental energy to fight this guy who didn't do anything to you. This dude's pretty much just standing up for your civil rights, and you're fighting him on whether or not what exactly are you protesting, madam? Are you saying that hate speech should be outlawed? Because that's and when people back you, firstly, that's not a tell that you've done anything right. When the audience backs you, when they clap and they woo-hoo and they whistle because you said something, they're not actually listening to you. None of them are actually paying attention to anything that you say. They just hear the last few words in your sentence, and if it's a buzzword that lines up with their current trendy topics, they're gonna cheer at it. You could stand up there and say, I'm a fascist Nazi who doesn't care about anybody but women's rights, and they'll clap and cheer for it, which, by the way, is kind of exactly what you wind up saying here. By the end of this exchange, you pretty much say precisely that. I'm a fascist Nazi who doesn't care about anybody but women's rights. Just women's rights, or 9/11, that sort of thing. It's a buzzword, and people clap and cheer for it because they don't actually have the attention span to pay attention to what you're really saying. And apparently you don't either. So somebody else winds up offering her the $20, another $20, adds on to that, says make it 40 for her to tell about a single event of oppression that she's experienced personally. She still refuses, and then the dickhead black chicks in the fucking audience say, why don't we pay you to shut up, to this dude? And he says, what are you doing here? Like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's going to say, why can't we pay you to shut up? I'm here to speak. You came here to listen. What the fuck are you doing here? And she goes ahead and she says, they have First Amendment rights. They have every right to be here. A First Amendment right to be here. The fucking idiot is standing there arguing against the First Amendment. That's your entire argument, lady. That's the only thing you're actually saying. You're trying to put down the First Amendment, say that people should not have the right to express themselves if you think that it's offensive to you somehow or to your people in general. Whereas, as he says, and I'll say, nobody wants people to be bad mouthing each other except for like Nazis and criminals and just general shitheads. And you, apparently, you thrive on this. This is your beat. This is your blood and your life fuel. You wouldn't get by in your daily life without somebody hate speeching you. Hate speeching. Sorry, I just pops out, but you wouldn't get by. I know your type. I've seen it 100,000 times before. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but I've seen it a lot. I've trained many people who began just like you have and have that same fucking problem, that victimization complex. You would not survive, intellectually speaking, through a single day without some advent of being victimized and allowed for you to fight back and protest in some way. You need that. That's your fuel. That's what makes you happen. So, uh, let's skip ahead to another instance I wanted to point out this because I need to play some of this because there's no way that I can fucking pull this off. No way that I can adequately espouse her conduct here. And just a second.
So look, I told you what the boundaries are. The boundaries are you can't yell fire in a crowded theater and you can't call directly for violence. But short of that, you are allowed in a free society.
So Dave, I just have a question.
I would prefer those people.
What's your background?
What's that?
What's your background?
What?
You are
Can
gay?
some ridiculous.
No, I just have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
You are gay and you are Jewish, correct?
Yeah.
So, I abhor anti-Semitism. So by your own standard logic,
people can say shit about the Jews. Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed. And I have family on both sides of my family die in the Holocaust, and I grew up around Holocaust survivors.
Do you think that the speech that is espoused against Jewish people does not promote violence against them?
You are allowed to in a free society. I would prefer that people be nicer, right?
You would prefer somebody espouse anti-Semitism, and that may or may not lead to violence against Jewish people.
Call for violence to people, but what you can do, it's the exchange of freedom. Would you prefer?
Do you think there's a correlation between hating Jews and wanting to kill them? Yes or no question.
I have to stop her there. Holy shit. Are you fucking serious, lady? Do you think there's a connection between hating Jews and wanting to kill them? Yes, of course there is, you fucking dipshit. You fucking idiot. I'm sorry, that's where I have to break it. It's just, I can't, you're a fucking moron. You're so stupid. I'm sorry. It's just, it gets to me. It's like you give humanity a bad name. You're fucking killing me. How can you do that? To stand up there and you know it's being recorded. You know somebody's going to see this. God. Okay. Yes, of course there's a correlation between hate speech and violence. Nobody is arguing against that. But we are not allowed to tell people that they cannot say they hate somebody. Period. We're not allowed to do that. If that were the case, we'd be tossing you off the stage out of the crowd right now because you're standing there hating every fucking buddy in it. So, I'm sorry. I blew up there. And I knew it was going to happen. I'm going to have to clip this right now, and I'm actually going to have to make a follow-up to the rest of this video because this is dragging on too long. There's too much to say here. So if you want to see the rest of what I have to say about this particularly magnificent young lady, then tune in to the part 2 of this. There will be a follow-up portion. And I'd like to say I'm sorry that my hands get all shaky when I'm holding that. It's a really awkward position, and I'm really filled, especially with this particular circumstance. I'm really filled with boosted, jacked up energy. So I apologize for that, but I can't do any better at the moment. Thank you for watching. Till now, the rest of it will be in the next part. Kila Salai, Terra Uni Siari, Namaste.